Okay folks, I'm back. This video I'm going to cover how to produce this stacked bar graph in MatPlotLib. This is the easiest way that I have found so far. As you can see, it's the City of London Investment Trust dividend, and it's split by each quarter's dividend. So quarter 1 blue, quarter 2 orange, quarter 3 green, quarter 4 red. There's a legend, as you can see, showing the dividend period in the different colours, and that's set on a yellow background, and I've enlarged this slightly, and that's a different font just to show you the possibilities here. And then across the x-axis we've got the year. So for each year you can see that City of London Investment Trust dividend has gradually increased, and for 2025 we've only got quarter 1 and quarter 2 declared. We're waiting for quarter 3, quarter 4, so they're at present not showing on the graph. Where's the grass? No, we're on the graph. So let's have a look at the code that was used to produce this graph. I'd just say on the graph, I find these graphs pretty disappointing myself. They don't look like professional quality graphs to me. Maybe I need to fiddle around with a few more variables within MatPlotLib itself, but this is not like a professional quality graph in my view. It doesn't feel polished. They never do. I don't know if it's the colours that are not right, or I don't know, but there's just something about them that puts me off slightly. Anyway, let's get into the code. You'll have to bear with me. I'm using OBS. Not often that I use OBS, so we'll see how I get on. So hopefully if I click this button here, we'll get into the code. And as you can see, the code, the data here from lines 4 to lines 12 is the majority. And then within another, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines of code, we've built the graph up. So just running through what's in the code itself, we're importing MatPlotLib, PyPlot as PLT, we're importing Pandas as PD. And the next thing, I'm creating the City data frame. So City, the City of London Investment Trust, the data frame. We're using the Pandas Dataframe method. And as you can see, for each year, I've got the year as a string, and then as a floating point decimal, I've got quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4, spanning the years from 2010 to 2025. But in 2025, as I said earlier, we've only got quarter 1 and quarter 2 declared, and the last two numbers are 0 in 2025. And then another option that you've got to use in this Pandas data frame is the columns, which are year, which is the first string in each list, quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. So it's labeling up the different quarters for each list in the data frame. So then we come down line 14. So we're using the City data frame that we've set up as a Pandas data frame. The plot method. So the X, this is the X-axis value. We're using the year, and that's got to be same as what is specified in the columns year. And then that'll equal 2010, 2011 through to 2025. The kind, which is the sort of graph that we're going to plot. In this case, it's a bar graph. The stacked option, that is true in that we want within each list within the data frame, we want the values stacked on top of one another, which creates a stacked bar graph. This is the easiest way that I've seen to create a stacked bar graph. The next thing is the title of the graph itself, which is the City of London Investment Trust dividend. The fig size, which I've used here, 16:9, which is the HD fig size. And then within that, or that plot I have then specified the method for the spines, the top and the right, set visible to false. So if we look in to the graph itself again, on the top you can see, and down the right there's no axis being drawn there, as we've got the X and Y axis with a black line. You usually get a black box surrounding all, but I've turned those off, and that's using the spines top and right set visible to false. So then moving on, I've added a grid to the plot with a line width of 1, so that's the thickness of the line on the graph. The colour, which that colour there is the hex figure for grey. You could put in there red or green or whatever colours recognised, but it also accepts the hexadecimal values. And then the alpha value is the transparency of the grid lines, and I've used 0.8. Then I've introduced the legend. So if we have a quick look again, the legend is this box here where it says the dividend period and it's coloured yellow. So the legend fancy box, that's a rounded cornered legend. Fancy box makes it look a bit more modern. The frame alpha, that refers to the colour, which I've got as yellow, and I want it bright yellow, effectively the yellow. So I've put it as 1, which is the maximum opacity, so it's a thick colour. 0 is the maximum transparency, and there'll be no colour there. Half, if you use half, that'll be half between half transparency and opacity. The shadow, there's a slight shadow around it. I've put that as true, but again, it doesn't look very good. If we move back to the, you can hardly see the shadow. There may be a way of casting that shadow greater, but it's not something that I've encountered at the moment. So the border padding, that is the padding between the lettering and the border of the legend box, the yellow colour. I've put that at 0.75. The edge colour of the legend box is red. The location, I've put 2 here, and that refers to, if we have a look again, the upper left area of the graph. I could have specified actually in words upper left, but it also accepts the figure 2, which is the same location, that is, of the legend box, 2 in this case, but also upper left. And then the properties, I've put size 15, and that's the size of the box itself. So I've slightly enlarged the box from what it was originally. You could make that box, if you put 1520, it'd be a lot larger area, it'd cover the graph, but 15 just fills the corner up a little bit more. So that's what I've done there. The border axis pad again is it's the distance between the y-axis and the upper x-axis. So that's 1, that's to move it more away from the border. The face colour, as I've said, that's the yellow background. The label colour, which is the colour of the actual legend writing, that is black. The title, again, dividend period, I've put, which specifies the quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. And then the font properties, I've put in for the title, which is the dividend period. I've just put this in to show how it works effectively. I've put size 12, which is the point size of the font, and the family of the font I've put fantasy. As we can see, the box legend it looks a bit different. The dividend period there, I mean, it doesn't really fit, but I just put that in to show you what you can put. If you put sans serif, it had just been a normal Q1, Q2 similar, but I just put that in as a different font just to show you what is available. And then we're just showing the plot which creates the graph, the bar plot from MatPlotLib in a tick into frame, I believe, but correct me if I'm wrong. So there we go. That's quite concise piece of code. I've seen others where the stacked bar plots are slightly more involved in that you have to specify what position goes on top of what. So I found this quite easy. I thought I'd share it with you. Let me know your comments below. As I say, well, I haven't said, but I'm a more amateur programmer. I'd like to do a few more graphs, production type quality graphs. And this one to me doesn't feel in that kind of realm. It wouldn't be good enough for television, I don't think. But there you go. You can see if you have invested in City of London Investment Trust, your dividend is growing quite nicely. So if you bought it in 2010, you probably got a nice yield from the recent dividend. And there we go. Thanks for watching. Don't forget, leave your comments. Subscribe. All subscribers are welcome. In my begging letter, I'm using OBS to record this. It's not the greatest quality, I don't think, but I'm trying, and there we go. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Goodbye.